Hi everyone, welcome to our next episode. And today I have a special guest, and her name is Alana. So thank you so much for coming here, Alana. And yeah, my first question is, who is Alana and why do you do what do you do?
That's a very big question.
Yeah.
Who was Alarna? Yeah, well, Alarna Rose. Yeah, I guess I have been on a bit of a wild ride over the last few years, and I have been many different Alanas.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, and I think the Alana that is emerging now is she's bold, she's wild, she's courageous. And she's got some really big friggin' dreams. Yeah.
And yeah, so I know you do business coaching. Is that
Mm.
something that you're still doing right now, or has that changed to something
Yeah,
different?
so I am working with business owners at the moment, doing
Mhm.
one-on-one coaching. Um, but to give you a little bit of context on how I've gotten to this point, I have, yeah, been on a wild ride the last 3 years, and about 3 years ago, I hit rock bottom, and I was at the lowest point in my life. I had just found myself in a really unhealthy relationship um, that I managed to get myself out of. And that was such a really profound experience going through that whole relationship because it really brought me back to me and myself. And so the last 3 years has been a journey of coming home to me and building a relationship with myself again. And in that process, I have dived deep into who I am at my core, asking myself the biggest questions and going really, really deep. And yeah, and I've really gone into energy and quantum physics because I've been in the personal development space for about 8 years. And over that time, I've really only just been touching the surface, really diving into mindset. But when I really started to go further inwards and really understanding ourselves as humans and, understanding that everything is energy, that I really unlocked this whole new journey. And in the last 3 years, I've been manifesting some crazy things. And just in the last 3 years, I've been really understanding how I've done that for myself. And I've really had a passion of sharing that with other people. So the last 2 years, I've actually been hosting women's empowerment and venture retreats and also corporate retreats and really helping people reconnect with themselves and understanding who they are and how powerful we really are. Um, and yeah, throughout that process, I've been, growing, going a little bit deeper. And yeah, and I've really understood how I've kind of manifested what I have along the way. And it all really does come down to identity.
Mhm.
How you see the world, how you see yourself, how you're showing up in the world, how you're interacting, how you're behaving, the actions you're taking, the decisions. It's all comes down to your identity, the things you're attached to. And yeah, and when I really understood that everything that had been trying to manifest, um, I I would get stuck and I'd really struggle going to the next level when I was really attached to the outcome and really had this energy around needing to get to the next level. And it wasn't until I really understood that I really had to be that next level now. I had to
Yeah.
be the woman that was already at that next level. And when I understood that she was already here and everything that I ever wanted in the future, those next levels, when I understood that those things were already here, I could tap into them in the here and now. That's when yeah, the wildest things would happen, and my identity would shift because I would be challenging my beliefs and challenging how I was showing up thinking differently, doing things differently, and really carrying a different energy. And when I really stepped into that energetic side, I shifted, my identity shifted. I went to my next level, and yeah, and usually the manifestation would appear. So yeah,
Yeah.
so now I'm really passionate about helping business owners unlock their next level. Only Oh, yeah. So the last 6 months has been another big identity shift for me. I
Yeah.
was working in a government job for the last 18 and a half years. And um, yeah, just had this real attachment to it and feeling like I was trapped and feeling like I was not I wasn't energetically aligned, I can say that. And I felt like there were a lot of beliefs around being safe, like
Mm.
that this government job was
Yeah.
giving me safety.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I really, really started to really drill down into my identity, um, and the identity of the woman who I was wanting to become, yeah, I really, really started doing the work and unlocking that woman now and really allowing myself to feel those emotions now. And yeah, the wildest things happened and I managed to exit my 9 to 5 within 6 months, fully exit, fully cut the cord within 6 months of going through this work. So yeah, so I've done it now multiple times for myself, and I just feel like I've got so much to offer other business owners in terms of unlocking their next level because we all hit a wall, we all hit a ceiling, and yeah, and I've the process has worked for me, and now I'm helping sharing what I know with others to help them unlock it too.
Yeah. I love that. I totally feel that when you're in that corporate environment and that feeling of safety, because that's what everyone else is also thinking. So you're in that energy. So it's like you have to physically get out of that space in order to not have that
Yeah.
those thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was difficult because I was growing a business outside the workplace and still had a 9 to 5. And outside of the workplace, I was in my truth. I was
Mm,
um I was in my truth and I was in my power and I knew who I was, and then I'd step into the workplace and
yeah.
this other person would appear. And it was this old identity, right?
Mm,
But I couldn't shift out of that old
yeah.
identity until I did what I needed to do on that energetic level to really go.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so yeah, it was just this real contrast. Like in the workplace, I would just be completely disconnected from my truth, and outside the workplace, I was just in my power, and it just became more obvious what I needed to do. Um, and I had been doing a lot of the work to get to this point of transition. And so by the time I ended up stepping out, I'd already built all the self-trust and the deep inner knowing that I could make the decisions and take the actions I needed to take to get to that next level. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was yeah, a really, really liberating process, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Being in an 9 to 5 for 18 and a half years in the same job, um, it gets harder and harder the longer you leave it.
Yes, so true. Yeah. And you went through like the energetics of it in within 6 months. So that's really awesome as well because a lot of people like they kind of do get stuck for years, which was something that I was in, I think. I didn't I was still exploring and then eventually I was trying little things and then eventually I found something that really changed and got me out of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was
And
like
I think,
yeah, it's just physically finding that thing. It's like all the pieces have to come together before you can take that step. So you've got like a little bit, oh yeah, I've got an idea, I've got this, I want to do that. So you're kind of like in both places at the same time. But then once you've got
mm,
everything ready, then you're like, or energetically ready, then you
mm,
can go and move, and then that's it.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'd tried for um I tried for years, several points throughout my career to transition,
Mm.
but could never make it work.
Yeah.
And energetics has definitely been the missing piece of the puzzle for me. It wasn't until I really dove into quantum physics and energy that everything made sense and I could shift. So it was more around the being rather than the doing.
Yeah.
And for me, yeah, it was not until I really understood that side of things that everything just made sense and clicked.
Yeah. I really want to also talk about your retreats. So because
Mm.
you mentioned that you've organized, was it in Bali, you said? Um, oh no, it was some another place.
Yeah, so I was hosting women's retreats and
Yeah.
I haven't fully let that go. I just haven't planned any more retreats at the moment because I've been in this transition
Mm.
period of really like in that weird phase of stepping away from my old identity, moving towards my new one, but not yet. I'm sort of like being in this between
Yeah.
phase
Yeah.
where I'm not quite sure who, where, what I've been, where I'm going. So yeah, so my focus has shifted now because I'm really, really feeling called to work more deeply one-on-one with people. But my retreats will still be a part of my journey. But yeah, so yeah, I've been hosting retreats with women for the last 2 years and also corporate retreats. And I just hosted a retreat on the weekend, which was really, really cool because I really, yeah, it was the corporate retreats are around helping business owners build conscious and connected workplaces. So
Mm.
I introduced the concepts of quantum physics and energy to the teams and really showed them how they could apply energetic processes
Mm.
um, to basically not only enhance their professional life, but also their personal life, and gave them real practical tools that they could use to actually influence the outcomes that they wanted to get. So yeah, so I've been doing that for the last 2 years hosting retreats. And I love retreats because they're really, really aligned with my values. I've got high value on experiences, adventure, fun, connection, and it ticks all those boxes. Yeah. But at the moment I am really, really in this beautiful space of creating like this beautiful space of creation and creating what I want my life to look like now as I'm moving into this new person. So yeah, it's wild. It's very liberating. I'm living very freely at the moment. I'm exploring, I'm traveling, I'm loving life. It's a really, really nice place to be in.
Yeah, I also feel that like really good energy coming from you as well in this conversation. Um, I yeah, okay. So I wanted to go back into like growing up. Where did you grow up and how was there anything in that time when you're growing up phase and in childhood that has impacted what you're doing now or has it
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, good question. I grew up as an only child, and my mum raised me as a single parent. So she was always working 3 jobs
Yeah.
and always really, really busy to support me. She wanted to always make sure I had everything. And honestly, like I had the best childhood. My mum um, had me in roller skating, and I competed at a very high level nationally. And yeah, and so growing up, mum was both the masculine and the feminine
Mhm.
energy.
Yeah.
And but she tended to be more in her masculine. And me growing up, I've kind of been more in my masculine over the years as well. And that's been the biggest, I guess, learning for me over the last 3 years is really tapping into that energy side, the ability to allow myself to slow down and feel and really unlock the feminine. Um, yeah, and so yeah, I guess that's kind of like a bit about, me growing up and kind of like been what's had an influence on me and who I am today. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go into, okay, this is a really maybe an offbeat question. So if you could describe your coaching style as an animal, what would it be and why?
Oh. Oh, as an animal.
Yeah.
Gosh. I'd
I mean,
probably
you can make one
say,
up if you can't think of an animal.
hmm. Oh, I don't know. This came to mind, a
Yeah.
porcupine, a hedgehog or a
Oh,
porcupine,
yeah.
because I like to challenge. I like to really challenge.
Mm,
I do like to challenge my clients and I can trigger them. But
oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but that's all part of the process, right?
Mm,
Is that unless we're being triggered, we're not going to bring the stuff up that's sitting at that subconscious level that we're not even aware of.
mm,
So yeah, I like to challenge my clients, and sometimes there's a bit of discomfort around that for them. But at the same time, I am very nurturing and very, I guess, hmm, compassionate. I'd definitely say I have a lot of compassion, empathy, but I don't beat around the bush. I don't dick around.
mm.
I like to get to the point. I like to be direct.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's so interesting. Um, okay, so I want to go into okay, so let's go into like some pivotal moments. So what's been a huge pivotal moment for you in your business journey, or it could be even be like a spiritual moment where it's completely transformed you or changed your life? Can you think of
Hmm.
anything like that?
Um, I think it was just the turning point for me was detaching from needing to get somewhere, detaching from my business in the sense, like for a long time, there was always that need. I
Mm,
had to grow this business because otherwise I was going to be stuck in my 9 to 5 forever.
mm,
Um, and when you get attached to needing something, um, the energetic vibration that sits below that is scarcity and fear, and you're vibrating at a lower frequency, right? So for me, it was really, um, yeah, really, learning how to detach from to needing this business to grow and
mm,
needing to get to this level, needing to grow the business so that I had the financial freedom to leave my 9 to 5. And it all came down to that identity shifting and that identity work, which really led me to a place of complete surrender and detachment and realizing that I had everything already here. um, I was already free. I always felt really trapped in my job. And when I got to the place of realizing I am already free, I already have it all, um, I just completely let go. I completely let go of that outcome and the need around my business. That's when like everything completely shifted. And that's when I unlocked the financial freedom to be able to leave my 9 to 5. So yeah, so it was definitely around the energetics and detaching.
mm. Yeah, I also want to ask you more about so when you teach when you have your corporate workshops or events, what kind of challenges do they face? Like what's a common issue that they have? And because yeah, you spoke about the energy of shifting into the out of the 9 to 5, but for them, um what kind of things what specifics would you work on with them?
Um, I'm really big on getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
sitting with discomfort, um, and really practicing um practicing allowing discomfort. So putting yourself in stressful situations to actually practice shifting your nervous system. So you
Mm,
actually remember how powerful you are. You remember you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, and that you have the ability to actually influence and control your nervous system. So the challenge is, yeah, for my guests at the retreats would be really navigating that fight or flight response
mm,
when they're in situations that are unfamiliar, that are stretching their comfort zones. It's really helping them get the practical tools to be able to, um, step back into their power and know that they have full control over the situation or and over their response and their nervous system and how their body's responding. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, what comes to mind is that for me, that I think that feeling of safety, that resource of feeling safe within your body and reconnecting to your heart, like that made me think about that for for
Yeah.
what I do. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so what's one piece of advice you would give to your 18-year-old self?
Mm. Again, I think it comes back to discomfort. It's getting uncomfortable with getting
Yeah.
comfortable with discomfort, getting comfortable getting uncomfortable. That's a bit of a tongue twister. So basically I would be, telling her that comfort isn't safety. So we are told, or, we have this perception that um we seek comfort because we think it's safe, but comfort is actually leading to long-term pain. Because when we seek comfort, we can, you know, engage in these, um, you know, coping mechanisms that aren't always healthy for us. So, you know, emotional eating, like when we're feeling, um, when we're experiencing an emotion that's wanting to come up, like an uncomfortable feeling that's wanting to come up, sometimes we'll go to food, we will eat to try and suppress that emotion. So whilst it's comfortable in the moment and it feels really nice and it feels safe short term, long term it's leading to pain. So that's why I would say to seek discomfort and allow yourself to feel it and know that it's normal and know that the only way to grow is to go through discomfort. So short-term pain equals long-term gain, whereas comfort is short-term gain equals long-term pain. So yeah, so that would be my biggest piece of advice would be to that discomfort is normal, discomfort is okay, and discomfort really is safety because the discomfort, sitting with discomfort builds self-trust. Okay, so where we don't feel safe, um, it really comes down to a lack of self-trust. So when
Mm.
we seek discomfort and we do the things that are uncomfortable, we're building that trust within ourselves, and that's where our safety comes from. So, yeah, so that would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah. So that's like in relationship to yourself, like your where
Mm,
you want to go and yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And maybe the last thing we can talk about, like, what do you have, like, do you have any offers at the moment, and where can people find you to, if they are interested in working with you?
yeah, so I am working one-on-one at the moment, predominantly, and I take my clients on a 6-month journey, where we do a complete identity shift to unlock their next level.
Mm,
Um, People can find me on Facebook and my Instagram page under
yeah.
Alarna Rose at the moment. And yeah, and I guess if someone wants to work with me, they can reach out. There's a link on my bio on Instagram where they can book a discovery call and we can have a chat. We can talk about what it is that where they're feeling stuck, where they feel like they're not, breaking through to that next level. And yeah, and I will take them through and show them the process that I used for myself, and show them the 6-month journey that I'm now taking other people on so that they can bust through that.
Yeah. I love that. And yeah, so thank you so much for coming on and having our this conversation. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to
It's
have
okay.
had
Thank
this
you very much for
conversation.
having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.